Hey, everybody, it's your host, Dr. Dana Martin. We are the Sith Dominion Podcast, and today, once again, we have Cam. Hello, Cam. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Great. And we have Debbie. How are you, Debbie?
I'm doing well.
Fantastic. I see that I watched the show from not last week before, when you had your Marvel hat on and tried to hijack the show. Just kidding. So, but you got a new
bad hair day. I'm
well,
sorry.
today's not a bad hair day. Holy crap.
What? See, and I
You're
don't
looking
have my hat
glowing
on.
like Pantene girl. You got. I don't even know if the kids know what the Pantene girl is. But
Actually, I use Pantene, so
that's amazing.
but this is from the hairdresser, so we'll see what it looks like tomorrow when I actually have to try and do it. Now, usually I just air dry it. I don't blow dry my bangs and air dry it because I ain't got time for that shit. So
Well, it seems like you're getting all ready to meet someone important.
yes.
Who is it that
Hayden.
you're so important?
Hayden.
Oh,
Hayden.
Yes.
Photo op, autograph op, and then they announced a panel with him in Rosario. So we got tickets for that too.
Heck yeah! Are you covering too for us, or is this all personal?
I mean, it's personal because I didn't see anything in regards to press passes or anything on their website. So I was like, all right. I mean, I'm going personally because Hayden.
Hayden. That's awesome. Cameron, you been to a con before? Comic-Con?
No, I mean, I went and saw Steve Downs last month. I don't know if that's technically considered a con, but
AggieCon? Was that AggieCon?
no, it was in Houston. It was
okay,
by
gotcha.
the Astrodome and all that.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, they had AggieCon here just a month ago. I had something out of town I couldn't attend, and that sucked because I thought I was trying to make a good relationship with those folks during the other con that I had covered and went to, College Station Comic Con, and that was super fun. So yeah, what is it that we have going on in the world right now of Star Wars? There's been some things I think pushed out about the Acolyte rumors and whatnot. Did they actually push a new trailer for that?
Rumor has it that they will have a trailer soon on Twitter. I think it was like 2 days ago. An Acolyte handle came up. So I assume something's coming real soon. I haven't checked it today to see if they posted anything or not.
Now they did release something else, didn't they? A trailer. Didn't they release Skeleton Crew?
I think so.
Or no?
That was.
Did I miss it? Is that like 2
weeks? It was
weeks
a while back though. And I think that was during one of the like San Diego Comic-Con or something like that. Or maybe it was a Disney Comic-Con. I don't know if they actually released it because anything I've seen has been like whatever somebody recorded on their camera.
That's right. There was a grainy something or other. That's all we've gotten. That's right. Man. I think I'm a little anxious. I need some content here.
You got the bad badge.
Bad batch. When is that starting?
It's on right now.
Oh my God!
I just finished the other series like 2 months ago. The last season.
Tomorrow will be episode 7 and 8. It's a double episode.
I'm so fun.
So, dude, you are behind.
Okay. Where's the new Star Wars? Dana, daylight savings time. Even with that, dude.
Hello, anybody home?
Oh my goodness. I've had quite the time. So I just was off last week. I had, well, in addition to the Drunk Shakespeare at the end of the month, make sure you get your tickets. I just completed leadership training certification so that I can coach and speak in all these things on John Maxwell leadership. So I've been extremely busy and I wish I could have given thought to this episode today. So we're winging it as best we can. So I haven't been able to really keep up with a lot of what's happening over the last few weeks. I did see that there was something I had asked you, Sir Cameron, not Sir Cameron, but you, Sir, Cameron, to do something here. What do we have here?
We got article about the guy who recently left Respawn, the Star Wars Jedi director, went and started his own company. I just thought it was interesting because I've liked both
Yeah.
the games, and I'm interested to see where, because they say the third game's supposedly in the works, and I'm interested to see kind of where Cal's story heads, or anything,
So
I guess.
does the story does that content follow, what is it? Giant Skull is the name now? Does it
No,
follow?
no, it's just he shocked people recently that the guy that had directed both the past two games left. So
Hmm.
now it's kind of like, and I don't,
Okay.
and I think the EA contract with Lucasfilm is donezo. So Lucasfilm can contract other studios to do their games for Star Wars. So I think that's interesting. But I don't know. I feel like the ending to Survivor, I mean, if anybody else has played it, I think that story, like if they didn't do any, I think it'd be a good ending. But I mean, I like Cal's character and I kind of like the journey he's on. So I'll
Mhm.
be interested to see where it
I
ends.
have I haven't finished Survivor, but the Fallen Order I finished, and I felt like while it was let's go find the list or whatever, it was still closure. Like I felt like they didn't have to make another one. I don't know how this one ends, and I'm guessing it's similar where it can end that way and or move forward. And with the director moving, certainly that I think throws a monkey wrench into the storytelling, or at least the directing piece of the story that has been so awesome.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, it's kind of the same trope. Like, oh, it's just another Jedi that survived Order 66, which makes sense given how big the Jedi Order was at the time of the prequels. But it's like this guy's had run-ins with Vader and the Empire, and his crew and survivors kind of well known within like the Empire groups on the planets they're on. So it's kind of like, I mean, what is, you know what I'm saying? Like what,
Mhm, mhm.
how much? Of course, I don't really think they care about canon or past movies, but I mean, how much are we dipping in with certain stuff that's already been established and certain lines that have been said and whatever. But
Yeah, I mean, and this may be Debbie. You and I have seen a lot of other series, I guess, kind of come and go. They kind of live out their usefulness and they move on. They're wonderful to go back on. I can't think of an example right now, but it seems that Star Wars has been going on so long that is there potential for, I mean, we saw recycling in the latest movies with, oh, it's another Death Star. But I mean, do you think that we're running low on storytelling, or is it just we haven't got the right storytellers again to expand it?
Yeah, we don't have the right storytellers or writers to do what needs to be done.
Mm.
And I know Kennedy has said this, and I just want to facepalm myself every time I see a meme that has her saying, we have no source material, and I'm like, oh my god, you have so many Legends books that could somehow be done one way or another. Whether I mean, I know a lot of it is the Skywalkers and the Solos, but you could do animation.
Yeah.
You could do animation for those stories and do them properly to where, I think the majority of the fan base would be happy. Well, of course, there's some that, no matter what you do, they're not going to be happy, but
yeah,
I would be happy. But yeah, they need to have writers and directors who know at least the basic source material.
Mhm.
Watch the damn movies. Watch the series, like Clone Wars and Rebels and all that.
Mhm.
Know your source material.
Do-
Don't screw it up.
who do you think, or do you think there was some kind of unwritten something to prevent them from dipping into that more than they have? I mean, certainly with Thrawn, they dipped into it because that's a character from the expanded universe. Why aren't they doing it more, especially after the success of Thrawn?
I don't know. And and I know a lot of people don't like the sequels. I'm not a big fan of the sequels outside of Force Awakens. I see where they were trying to go. It was just the wrong execution because not to be crass, but they had to get rid of Luke, Leia, and Han. They had to because, well, I mean, look what happened to Carrie. You wait so long to do these movies to where these actors are so old. It's just like, and you try and sign them on for 3 movies or whatever, and it seems like 10 years to make a freaking movie anymore. And, you have one of the main characters die. So yeah, you got to come up with something. I see what they were trying to do to gently let go of the original characters and then bring in these new characters to get that story going. They just went about it the wrong way.
I am trying to be very non-confrontational.
Say it.
What?
Say it.
I know, right? I don't think I agree here, and I think what I'm trying to be all nice. She's like, F you. No, before, so in pre-show, if you were on the TikTok, you could have watched that exchange where I was telling Debbie I love having her on the show because she just doesn't care. She'll just say it and not even care.
I don't care.
You're like, yeah, I don't care about that either, Dana.
I mean, I'm not going to get mad. I'm not a person that if you disagree with me, I'm not going to, throw ballistic missiles at you or anything.
Look, so the story is not Rey, right? The story is Skywalker. Like that's the story. And so if you're gonna do part 1 through 9, then do part 1 through 9 and have it about the Skywalkers, not the 3 movies kind of being Skywalker and then it just all Rey Skywalker and the Skywalkers live on. Bullshit. That's wrong. You wronged, in my opinion, George Lucas, who had this grandiose version of Luke Skywalker. And I can't. No, Cam, I'm not wholly on your side yet, but I am thinking about that specific piece of the storytelling that we're talking about. That there was that you're introduced. Why couldn't you just so you introduce young Anakin and young Obi-Wan and all these things to a new generation, which is the plan and the point, right? We got a perpetuity, toys, and all the money, right? So you did that. So why wouldn't you continue to do that in the other ones? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand why they went the direction they did. Not to say there isn't good content in the direction they did, because I've talked a lot about some of the good stuff that I personally love. But the story itself, I could care less. In the end of the day, I couldn't care less about those Poe, Finn, whatever. When it comes down to brass tacks, as much as I love you, Daisy Ridley, no, I cannot. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Holy crap! I think I'm gonna take my blood pressure. Sorry.
Well,
it pisses me off because we, and it wasn't made for us. It was made for a new generation. But you can still do that. But but keep these characters. You killed Han Solo in the stupidest way, man. Like, holy crap. He was the anti-hero that every single person, every little kid that was a bad kid, that was told they were a bad kid in school, knew they could grow up to be something good because they could look up to Han Solo. Damn it. Sorry. That pissed me off. You kill him straight away and you give no one an opportunity to understand how complex and wonderful this character is. The reluctant hero. Son of a gun. Sorry, I just lost my mind. Oh,
Well, I tell you what, I agree with you
sorry.
because when they first announced that they were making the sequel trilogy and they announced that they were bringing back Luke, Han, and Leia, I cannot tell you the conversations I had with my kids because we were excited. We thought, oh my God, we're going to get Jason and Jania and Ben, and and then the story was going to continue with them, maybe not have Luke and Han and Leia in it so much, but continue with those kids and then move on from there. We had all kinds of conversations about that. I was just so excited. And then they didn't.
You're dumb. You know what? Who's the people that buy the shit, right? You as parents, right? And you as a 20 whatever 30, I don't even know how old you are, Cam. However old you are, like you use your money to buy Star Wars shit. Like, who buys the stuff? The kids. No, the kids don't. The parents do. And if you want to bring the parents along, like you did me in the first, we've talked about it on the show. The entire, even with mess ups of episode 3, I have every action figure there ever was. Like that. Wait, one of every one there ever was of episode 3. So Cam, you didn't know that. You may not have known that. You may have come on later after we talked about that. But the point is, like, you got me because you're talking about and telling story of what I already know. You're bringing in these people that nobody gives two flips about. I love you, Ray. I love you, Daisy. I love your character individually outside of as a separate a Star Wars story. Something like that. I love it. But I just am having still a hard time with it. And it's been years and I should get over it.
Hey, you feel like you feel. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Can't feel bad about being passionate about something that, like you mentioned the Han Solo thing, like that was always my gripe. Like, I mean, outside of Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, I mean, Luke Skywalker was probably the one good character that I looked up to growing up, and to see what they did to my hero, and I just paid $25 to watch the film, and they're just like, I don't even know who that guy is. Like it hurts, because it's like this character had such a impact on my life, and just to see them not care essentially about his story and where it was going it's just unfortunate. And I recently read the first Dark Empire comic, and there was a forward, I think, that Tom Veach did, or however you pronounce his last name, about the story, and then essentially summarized, like, he talked about how him and the other authors of the EU like collaborated to make sure that there's wherever their story fit, that they were respecting what came before, and that at the time George had no plan to do any sequels, and if he does, he may or may not take some of the stuff that they had used. But it was just the fact of reading something like that, they still respected the established work of the story itself. And it seemed like the sequel trilogy wanted to go, oh, the collective media didn't like the prequels. We want to go away from that, but we want to get closer back to the original trilogy. And it's like the the first two the first I mean the prequels are a part of the story. You know what I mean? And it seemed like they wanted to get as far away from George Lucas Star Wars, but just have the characters to throw on the screen, and then like let the past die, and it's just stupid. They don't get Star Wars, and they're never going to get Star Wars because they don't care. We're in a transactional world. All they care about is making money.
Mhm.
It was just an asset that Disney bought, and they want a return on their asset, not something that George built and that was his life. And
Mhm.
they don't respect it, and they're never going to. And then they're going to blame us, the fans, the people that actually purchase the stuff, purchase their content, love their content, hate their content, whatever. And they're going to blame us when it fails. When why don't you just make why don't you make a good story
Yeah.
instead of spitting in the face of the fans?
You know, and that's where I think Filoni comes in, hopefully, with his new role. He's like, yeah, okay.
He's the
He
fall
faces
guy.
it off. He's the fall guy.
Oh,
Uh,
dude! I mean, you see I mean, if you watch the Bad Batch end credits, I mean, his name's the first 4 names that you see. And
Yep.
I get that he created them or whatever, but I mean, how much is he really influencing that show? You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
he's the fall guy. I'd be like, well, I mean, y'all wanted Dave in power, and we're not making any money, and y'all hate it. Well, I mean, Dave's our guy now. Like that's all he is. He's
Listen, every Star Wars character that we've seen on screen within the expanded universe, I say every, like 90% of the characters we have seen on screen have some sort of story in the expanded universe. And that's all the way from Porkins and company, all the way up to whoever. It's just everyone has a I can't remember the name of the Bothan. He was a Bothan politician who came from the Bothan spies, but was a politician. Anyways, like he's in Return of the Jedi. Like all these characters, Nimnub, he's all through Rogue Squadron. So those books for Rogue Squadron were amazing. And those were several books, like you said. They Aaron Alston, Michael Stackpole, like they conversed. I want to make sure that there's some congruency on what I'm doing with Wedge, right, and what you're doing with Wedge, and then you're going to bring Luke in. That's fantastic because he's needed for this asset, as an asset for this mission, for this book. Even though I'm using Michael Stackpole, what you did, Aaron Alston, in the previous book with what he learned, like that sort of connectivity and congruity made that shit so amazing. And I just don't feel it. I feel like I don't want to belabor this. I'm sorry. It just frustrates me to no end when you have so much love for something and you just seeing it getting crapped on. I mean, oh, whatever.
well, get ready because Yoda's next. Yoda is next. I promise you.
No.
He is going to be ruined next.
Forever sleep. Like that, just leave him be. Just let him sleep.
I hope he is, and I know he's going to be in it because he's alive during that time period, Jedi Grandmaster. But I hope for all that is left for original trilogy fans that he's just not in there. But he's going.
That's what
to
we're
be.
talking about, baby. Right there.
He's,
Oh, on the back it says Vader 77.
Oh,
Box lunch. I told you guys about this place last show. Box lunch.
Is that your second jersey you have?
Yeah, I got a button down also. It's pretty slick.
Well, it's good that you
I
got.
see if they have any long sleeve ones because I might get something like that to take my picture with Hayden.
A Sithy one? Heck yeah.
Well, he is Darth Vader.
Yes, he is.
So, well, that certainly went longer than I anticipated. Those of you, Josiah, thank you for the encouragement to continue to lose my shit on a show. I just, I'll say this, and then we can move on. I went through some of that training and whatever this weekend, and I learned that there are things, and we all know this. The voices that you hear to tell you what to do and what not to do. That's not you. Like you're the one receiving those, right? Everything else is your thoughts. And so, what is you going to actually listen to? Are you going to listen to the lies that you can't? Are Are you going to listen to the? I see through the lies of the Jedi. The Jedi told Anakin his whole life, you can't. You're awesome. You're the best of us, but you can't. And so all he heard were the lies of the Jedi telling him he couldn't. And when he realized he didn't have to listen to the lies of the Jedi, holy crap, what an amazing Sith Lord Darth Vader was, even with all the armor and having no legs. So,
He has robotic legs.
How come we never heard those like RoboCop when he would walk? Like, come on, man.
Like
Come on.
hydraulics.
Yes, I would love to. Every time he's like, okay. I mean, even Luke clicked. Remember when he had his hand? It was like click, 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 when he had his wrist opened up. Wow, that's a detail. Yeah. So tonight, speaking of Sith, I don't know what is going on with my screen tonight. I need to give me 1 second, folks. It's distracting.
It's the light side trying to come in.
It's Disney.
No. Yeah, no. What do I oh, here it is. Blur. Let's do that. Can we blur? It's blurring a green screen. Okay, whatever. At least it's not going crazy. So
I mean, I'm vibing with the green.
You're vibing with the green?
The best lightsaber color anyways. So
I feel like Mariah's about to come out with all this green and red. It's a little early. Don't thaw her out yet. Oh my goodness, we are having way too much fun, the three of us. Yeah, Zane's out, man. He I got to see him play after the show. He played at the Austin Barbecue Austin, which is part of the Austin Rodeo. So there's like 100,000 people at this event. I no less than 200-300 people easy just in the hour or two that he was playing. Watched him and his new band that he's with. So that was real cool. So kudos, Zane. You did a great job. And no, I'm a musician too. So if you suck, I tell you. I have told you. So, and you tell me too. It's such a great relationship. But tonight we're gonna talk and look at the part 5, which is actually part 4, which of the Sith Code, which is through victory. Sorry, my microphone's about to fall. Through victory, my chains are broken. And I want to talk a little bit about that. We've talked about the things that victory sometimes can do in a negative way, right? How the things you do to get to that victory. But once you have victory, my chains are broken. What does that mean? My chains are broken. If there was a piece of the Sith Code that really puts me in deep thought, it's that. It's what does it mean to have victory and loose chains? And I want to know y'all's thoughts. I have thoughts, but that's my job to have thoughts.
I think it's like the you win. Like once in Anakin's case, like, oh, the dark side's going to give me what I want to save my wife, to make sure she doesn't die during childbirth. I don't really care about being a Sith. I care about what the Sith can give me, and if I have to become a Sith Lord to save my wife, then then that's how he was in his mind was going to win, And I guess hypothetically speaking, the Jedi were the chains that Anakin and Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan's holding me back. I want more. I know I can get more. I know I deserve more, but I can't. So, but I think in life sense, nobody likes feeling like they have a chain dragging behind them. You're moving half a mile slower than you could move, So that's kind of what it means for me.
And I think you're making a kind of a piece here that I need. Obi-Wan said he was very much like, no, stop, right? He's like, no, hey, settle down, this isn't your deal, just shut up and follow the rules and whatever. Like, as a mentor, as someone who mentors people, like, I just can't imagine telling someone shut up and just do your job. Like, if you have that So I guess what the question is I'm getting at is, could Obi-Wan have approached that differently that may have provided a different outcome for Anakin? Like, what else could he have done instead of just saying no, 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 but still stay maybe within the realm of the Jedi-ish?
Possibly tell Anakin that he knew about him in Padme,
Mm.
and maybe either give him an out, or I mean, he could use his and Satine's relationship. Hey, if she would have asked me, I would have went. If that's what Padme wants, go. Be
See,
free.
like, for an out for you, does it mean like? Because I'm thinking with Obi-Wan is like you need to telling Anakin you need to stop it. Not that it's okay. That's kind of the way I think. Or you mean like you have this, I know, and it's okay. What is your
Um,
Mm.
I think Obi-Wan would have given him the out or the choice of leaving the order,
Man.
only because he would have done it with Satine. If Satine had asked him, he would have went. He would have known how Anakin feels.
But Obi-Wan was training Anakin because he promised Qui-Gon. And he promised Qui-Gon because Qui-Gon believed he was the one. If he really was the one, and if Obi-Wan really believed he was the one, I don't know that he would have let him leave the order.
Yeah, see, Dana,
I think Obi-Wan was in pain for that too. I think Obi-Wan hurt for that. I think Obi-Wan was one of the more compassionate people in the entire series. Sorry, go ahead, man.
No, I like because I want to ask you about your mentoring and those type of things. So let's say hypothetically you have your Anakin, right? Y'all are going to present this or your Anakin's going to present their project to the board of directors, Jedi Council, right? If he gets approval, as in gets approved to be, essentially how Anakin being granted the rank of master, but he's not on the council, right? Your protege is going through that same sense in whatever work field you're mentoring them in.
Mm-hmm.
I always had a problem with, because I feel like a good mentor with how we see Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship, him not like Anakin's doing his thing and Obi-Wan stepping up and saying something. I get he doesn't want to step over Mace and all of that, but I mean, are you? Yeah, well, trust me, you don't got to tell me that. This is not a Mace Windu fan club, but I mean, Dana, are you saying something? Assuming you and your protege have the same type of relationship we see with Anakin and Obi-Wan through Clone Wars and the movies and all of that. I mean, I always feel like that was, if things go right in that film, like we want it to every time we watch it, I think Obi-Wan says something there, but he doesn't, and that bothers me. I feel like that's kind of what I wanted to ask you.
And I think so. Yeah, yes, 100%. And I have. You cannot. Nothing's going to destroy rapport and influence more quickly than not standing when it's right, or not standing for someone. And Obi-Wan lost, I think, a lot of respect when he just under the table told all that to Anakin. If I were Obi-Wan in that situation, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in that situation. It's a movie, but I have to know, just based on my historical data, I would have said, guys, can we talk for a second? Not in front of everybody. Give me Mace, give me Kiaramundi, give me Yoda, etc. We'll just kind of behind closed doors, and I'm going to say, guys, I know what you want me to do, but is this really something that is solid in our core values? And if it's not, I don't want to be a part of it. And then leave it. Then you're removing yourself, right? And anyone below you. And if they want to do it, they're going to have to go around you. And in that case, your mentee person is going to know You stood up for them, and they're going to follow you the entire way. When Yoda comes to ask, and he comes to you, and you tell him what just happened, he's with you till you die. Like that. So no, and it's not because he'll be there till you die. It's because that's the right thing to do. And if in your gut and in your soul, the liars inside your head are telling you, no, it's okay, we'll just go with it, we can maybe get in. If you think that's the most tiny bit unethical, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. If you think just for a second, don't do it. And I think Obi-Wan was so torn, like that was the beginning of the end for him and Anakin's relationship, period. Because the next time we see them, it's the final goodbye. And it's heartbreaking because you know what's going to happen. Like, oh, sorry, I went off again, but that's the answer. The answer is no. We don't do that to our employees. We don't do that to the people we care about. People aren't going to do or say a damn thing that you want them to do or whatever. They don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. And so until you make a real connection with an individual, you're not going to get them to, one, do anything you'd like them to do, and two, how are they ever going to know you got their back if you're just doing these little side deals and bullshits? No, 100%. That's my answer, and I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, I mean, it just always feels like he's wanting to say something, which it fascinates me that you have Yoda, who's indoctrinated, if you want to say, with the Order the same way Obi-Wan is, but in between those two are two people that went through the same doctrination that they went through with the Jedi, but they saw it differently.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not Qui-Gon to the certain extent that Dooku maybe did, but I think they're fairly similar in terms of ideals. But I mean, it's just fascinating that, I mean, what's the robot's name from Ahsoka? It's like you come from a line of non-traditional Jedi. You know,
what is his name? Oh, Hugh. I can't say his name. Starts with an H.
Oh, Hu Yang, I think.
Hu Yang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes me mad that we have so many examples in Clone Wars where, like, Obi-Wan does things that maybe aren't the purest Jedi way, and then we see him in the movie and he doesn't. I feel like with the stories we see in there, him not saying anything in Revenge of the Sith irks me, which I understand why he doesn't. But man, because he could have prevented a lot of things if he would have just, like Debbie said, kind of given him the out.
Yeah. So what do you think, Debbie? Why do you think Obi-Wan was so, I don't want to say timid, but as far as we know, what we've seen, we don't know that he didn't, but he never challenged them on this stuff. What are your thoughts on that? Why wouldn't he have?
Well, I mean, in the first place, I mean, Yoda kind of put him in a tough situation, making him go to take out Anakin. I mean, it's like, okay, do I go against one of the most well-known, respected Jedi? You know, do I go against him? You know, I think he was put on the spot. He was in a rock and a hard place.
Mm-hmm. Who else was gonna do it? I mean, I get that, right? And I think that's probably where he was. It was like, who else is? I mean, Yoda, go, but he can't beat Sidious. Obi-Wan wasn't gonna be able to beat Sidious either. So, yeah, I guess not. I guess there really wasn't any other way for that, was there?
Unless
Nobody else was there.
Yeah.
Because Mace was already with Sidious with 5 other Jedi that got taken out in less than 2 minutes.
Man,
which I'll never understand that one, but
like I get that. Like I use some tricks like that whenever I was in my role playing Sith role playing stuff way back. We'll just leave that. I'll stick a pin in that for another time. That's where the Sith Dominion name came from. Actually, was I had a role playing forum site. It was called the Sith Dominion. So anyway, but I forgot what I was going going with that. But yeah, so there isn't anyone else to do those things. But was there any other way that they could have? I just feel like if Obi-Wan doesn't go to Mustafar, um, what happens with him and Padme? He never sees Obi-Wan coming off. He never gets pissed off. Like what happens?
Him and Padme go away together.
And do you think he leaves it all behind? Or do you think he tries to still convert her and what have you?
I don't know. I feel like they leave together.
So this is where it comes to for me the chains, right? So for Anakin, saving his wife was the for me the chains for his whole ever since he had the first dream, that his whole being was centered around making sure she would live forever. It was just dumb, right? Come on, do you really want your
not
wife to
live
live
forever,
forever?
but he wanted her to survive childbirth. And
Sure.
I'm sorry, but if Mace would have made him a master, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Oh, we're gonna blame Mace for that? Dude,
Well,
I think Mace was under the influence of the dark side, and I think there's a whole story to be told about that. I really do.
interesting take. I feel like it wasn't like it was the Padme chains, but it was also the chains of he was having the same visions of his mother,
Oh.
and they wouldn't let him go save her, and so he had like quadruple the chains, because he saw what happened the last time he was having these visions, and he was not able to act in time. But he was so blind to see that all she needed was for him to be there. She dies because he isn't there,
Mhm.
or at least that's how I interpret it.
She died of a
And
broken heart.
well, I mean,
Now, oh, go ahead.
I feel like, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what they make it seem like, but I mean, I really think it's the fact that all she wanted was him. I mean, I think she says that when they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like, all I want is you. I don't care about the politics, the Jedi, whatever. Like, let's just go away to Naboo or some distant planet and let's just raise our child together. That's all she wanted. But he was so persistent on achieving this power that he thought he needed to save her when the true power was he already had it. She just needed him, you know. But
I mean, I know they say no one can eat just one Lay's, but for me, it's Pringles. One Pringle, that's not enough. I mean, one little taste of that dark side power, that's not
yeah,
enough. Like it's like little little booger sugar. Like it's you addicting. You got to keep going and go. Yeah, that was pretty. Sorry,
Like, what
sorry
the
guys.
hell?
uh, don't worry about pests here on this show. So you just want to make sure that you don't do those things in public or talk about them. That's not what we were
Yeah.
talking about now in Throne.
Now, do we think that good old Palpy put those dreams, manipulated those dreams in Anakin?
I don't know. I think there was something to it because it ended up happening, right? I think there was something to it, and that Yoda could see something too, and that's why he was kind of coy because he didn't want to frighten him any more than he was already frightened. I think Yoda was smart enough and full enough of the strength in the Force that I believe he could see those things potentially playing out, and that he knew what Anakin, even though Anakin didn't tell him about the Sand people, like Yoda knew. Come on, he knew. He's Yoda.
Well,
900 years.
he heard their voices. He heard
Oh yeah,
Qui-Gon.
that's right. That's
He
right.
heard the screaming, so he knew what was going down.
so in terms of the chains, what are since I mean he's kind of the mastermind behind the story that we know. I mean, what were Palpatine's chains for? Because I don't think he was. I mean, I know we've talked about doing a "Can Palpatine be redeemed" episode in the future, but can a sociopath? I mean, does a sociopath who's just all in have chains that need to be broken to fully achieve the power of the Sith?
I think so. I think that there's something initially that triggers that, right? There has to be something to set you down the path, and that once you've achieved it, that you feel that sense of success or relief or victory. And in Palpatine's case, that is a good question. I have not read, don't yell at me, I've not read that book, but I don't think that book is actually fully canon right now. It could be. Am
You
I
talking
wrong?
Plagueis?
I haven't
Yeah,
read
the
it
Darth
either.
Plagueis
Yeah,
book.
it's not.
So there's a part of me that wants to read it to see. I don't know if you guys have read it. What they may say about that, I could then derive something from. But at this point, it's hard to know because all we know technically is that he was 14, was in the Senate, early on in Naboo. That's what they did. They were politicians or whatever, and he rose through the ranks, became blah blah blah. The rest is history. So, and we talked about that a little bit. So it's hard to know for me what was his ultimate shucking off of chains for him. People like Revan, I think it's easy. There's a lot within their lore that gives us a glimpse into their motivations of why am I galactic conquest? Why am I wanting to kill these people? And I don't know that other than just for the sake of I believe in the Sith theology, whatever you want to call it, the Sith, whatever, then because ideology, that in and of itself to spread it and to take revenge maybe was his, because at last, what does he say with yeah, it was Darth Maul. At last the Sith at last we'll have our revenge or whatever. I don't know. That's tough, man.
I read that book, but it was so long ago. But I'm thinking he was just always a little shit. Seriously, I think he was. He always had that bad boy in him. If I remember right, if anybody's reading it or watching this, put it in the comments, but because it's been a long time, but I really don't think it took that much, because he wanted power and he wanted to rise up in the ranks of the Senate. And then when that opportunity presented himself, he didn't even have any second thoughts. He went right for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it was just always there.
Yeah. That's a great question. Because he leaned into the term Sith heavily, Palpatine. And though not Sith, was of Sith. And I always thought that was amazing to me with his dedication and the way he would speak of Sith. Now, you turn that around though, and it's like, yeah, but the Sith Code says there has to be motive. What is his motive? So, unfortunately, fortunately for Zane, he had an assignment this week, so we're gonna call him out right now because I know he didn't do the assignment because we played Overwatch yesterday, and I was like, he's like, good thing we had an extra week for my assignment. And then I hit him up this morning, hey, show tonight, and he's like, oh, I'm not gonna be. Oh, really?
How
Really?
convenient.
So I'm probably gonna put you to task there, Cam, and see what we can find out about that because I think that's huge, especially with the fact of how much I love Palpatine. Why I had never thought of that. That's huge. Yeah, in the comments, you guys know about this? Please leave something. Do you have any thoughts about that though, Cam?
I mean, I'm thinking maybe when they finally take down the Jedi, or at least when he finally becomes the Emperor,
Mhm.
I would think. I mean, I know that's late in his, or not late, but pretty far along into his Sith journey. But I mean, that would be probably the one place when I would see his chains being broken.
Mhm.
Because finally, I mean, he rose to the ranks of the Senate, and I mean, I want to read the book too. I've listened to the excerpt of when he kills his parents, which is really great. And shout out to Bun's Books on YouTube who do audio clips of the EU. They're
That's cool.
fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I think pre my homework assignment that I'm apparently going to have, that's when I would probably think that his chains are broken when they finally take out the Jedi. So
Yeah, I think if he really was all in, and clearly he was. Whenever we do get to episode 9, there's the whole weirdo worship, scene with all the Sith followers. So he was all in to being a Sith. It wasn't like he was just using that even to get to where he
yeah,
wanted. He was all in. And I think the taint that he had from the dark side really twisted his mind in a way that maybe it was just a madness, that was his change, and actually that was his prison too, right? Is holy is the madness that comes from being in the. We see it over and over again in those dark side characters throughout the EU, especially like after a while they just start losing their damn minds because absolute power corrupts. Absolutely, we know this. Um, but yeah, I can't think of anything, man. It'd be cool to see what you could find out. If nothing, that's cool too. But it seems that if all of this is true and if all this is aligned the way it should be, there's got to be something for him too.
well, I'm pulling
Great point.
from EU, not just
I don't
canon,
care.
so.
Yeah.
All right,
However,
all right.
have you've only read the first graphic novel though? You haven't read the second yet.
I just got the second in the mail, and I thought I bought the third one, but I only bought the first copy, so I have to get the second copy of the third one. But it was prompted because the last episode that we had, Debbie asked me how I felt about Palpatine coming back, and I feel like I didn't really give a great answer. So I'm trying to. I know it was from what I've read and listened to, I think it was the most controversial EU history or whatever
Because of
creation.
Luke, no doubt.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I have thoughts on that too. But I mean,
So
it's been I enjoyed it. Like it was cool. Like I was telling Josiah, I give it like an 8 out of 10.
good. Mhm.
And to see just I now see what they were trying to do in episode 9, and they just
No, they didn't. Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, it was. So and I will say like that was one of the pieces for me that drew me closer to Luke was that story in the graphic novels because he was even more human than and I mean fell like it was just so good. It was so and Leia. Oh God, Leia. I don't know how far you've gotten, but man, it's so good.
well,
Um,
like seeing him how he thinks like he has to take the responsibility of saving the galaxy all on his own, and just him thinking that okay, well, I mean, yeah, the Rebel Alliance and all that Death Star, but like I have to do this. Like this is Sith stuff. I'm a Jedi. I need to do this. And to seeing him want to figure out what could have made his father. I mean, it just makes me admire him
mhm.
pre Force Awakens even more. So
Yeah, oh, that was good. Did you read those graphic novels, Debbie? Like way back.
I read. Oh gosh, this was years ago. I started reading. They weren't graphic novels, I don't think. I think they were the comics, but it was because in the comics, and I couldn't tell you the name of them, but even then, good old Palpy had an obsession with cloning.
Mm-hmm.
And because his end game was not only to rule the universe as emperor, but he wanted to do it for a very, very long time. Hence the cloning.
Yep. If not infinity, one shy.
Yeah.
Like he wanted, yeah.
Yeah. That was his end game. He wanted to do that. He was just obsessed with it.
And it makes sense from that perspective for sure why they brought him back because of that obsession, right?
Should have shown
because-
it 2 movies ago.
and I mean, it's in the graphic novel. It's in Heir to the Empire. It's in, like, yeah, it's everywhere. He was obsessed. You're right, Debbie. And maybe that
even-
was his chains. Like, he
Even
didn't
Luke was
wanna die.
cloned at one point. Luke was
What?
cloned.
Luke.
Luke was cloned. Luke. I don't know why they spelled it that way. Luuuuuke.
Yeah.
Luke.
Hmm.
You couldn't come up with another name.
That was where they found the hand and cloned him off the hand, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what
What was that? Oh my god! I just remembered that.
honestly, that was so cool when I was reading that. I mean, I had heard about it, but like when I was reading it, I was like, "This is badass."
This is ridiculous. Come on, they found the floating hand, and yeah, okay. No,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, so certainly we've talked a little bit about some examples, especially within the realm of kind of listening to those voices, and the voices that were telling Anakin, this is the only way, right? The voices that were telling Mace, like I said, I think we should do a Dark Side Mace episode, because this dude was so messed up. He didn't even know. I swear to God, what's his name? Palpy had him wrapped around his finger the whole time. The whole time. Sorry, Mace. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say about you. But from a positive perspective, yeah, those things are great, right? From me as a let's say as a leader, if I do have a situation where I've got an individual that just cannot seem to get past something, move past, grow past something, then I need to find what that is, that chain, right? What is it that's the chains that are holding them down? What is their prison that they've made of themselves? And the only way to get out of that is to understand that, one, whatever your box is something you're creating for you, right? So these chains that, let's say Anakin, right? He wanted to save Padme. Well, he's creating that for himself. No one is, Palpatine's putting dreams for it, but you see where I'm going, right? I mean, he's putting that together in his soul, and then that becomes something he's enslaved to, and he's made it up. Holy jeez, he's made it up. So for myself, if I've got someone that I'm trying to mentor or talk with, I'm gonna ask them questions like who said that? Who said that Padme was going to die? Well, I had a dream, and my dreams are powerful. Have you had any dreams that didn't come true? That doesn't count. I mean, like mentor them, like ask the questions that cause you to doubt the lies that are being told to you. And what's when you have someone like Palpatine who has the ability to kind of get in your head, that does make it a lot difficult. But we have Palpatines in our lives too. We have people around us that we keep in our lives that are toxic, don't we? And that tell us the bad shit all the time. And it's like, do I have to sit in this car ride forever with this person who's negative Nelly, the whole Debbie Downer? Not you, Debbie, but Debbie Downer. But those are the things that fuel the fire to those voices, right?
Well, so what is, let's say, Dr. Dana Martin, Jedi Grandmaster of the prequel era, has Qui-Gon come to him with this boy from Tatooine? Because, I mean, what I'm insinuating is that you're saying Yoda's a bad leader, and I'm not going to disagree. But at one point, he had to have been a good leader, because the Jedi were, at some point, we're at their peak, they were prospering. Debatable. But, so what's Dr. Dana Martin, Jedi Grandmaster, doing in episode 1 to ensure the future of the galaxy?
If I'm being 100% honest, and I'm putting myself, say, in a Yaddle situation where I've been on the council, I get it, I get the prophecy. We've had really special kids come through a lot that haven't panned out, that we've had to put in the incinerator and move on. When
Wow, that went dark.
He's a gray Jedi.
So if you're not useful to me, no, in the incinerator you go. There's a nice, the Wilhelm scream happens every time you push them down the chute. One sec. They're like slinkies. They don't do a whole lot till you push them down the stairs, and then they're a whole lot of fun. All right. So where were we? I don't even know. No. It'd be tough because you're in those situations, but when you're in there and you're constantly being bombarded by this is what it is, this is what it is, this is what it is, and you have everybody's in groupthink, everybody's on the same page, but in a very bad way, because there's no outside diversity of thought coming in and permeating the crappy train of thought that's got you blinded from what's happening right now. And sometimes it takes someone from the outside to see those things, and I believe that Obi-Wan saw it. If I were to have seen it as Obi-Wan saw it, I can't be quiet. I have to talk. And even if that means like you're banned from, being in the well, F you. I didn't want to be in this crappy order anyway. If you're doing this stuff, or if he may be the one, right? So let's give him a shot like we have everybody else. Don't put any extra pressure on him. Let's just see what happens. Teach him, train him just like anyone else. And if he is the cream, he's gonna rise to the top. And if he's not, to the incinerator. So I think that's how I would handle it. That's how I handle stuff right now today. And I have to think, if I'm genuine and authentic, I would do the same thing there. I would question, not in front of everybody, but I would question, why wouldn't you want to at least train this individual in the knowledge of good instead of potentially having him run off with and join the Sith on his own anyway? It didn't make sense to me, man. So that's what I would do, 100%.
Episode 30. Dr. Dana Martin fixes the Jedi Council.
We'll see.
Tune in 2 weeks.
Jedi are even better.
Maybe they're not called Jedi anymore. I don't know.
Jedi. Yeah, my poor dog. He used to be Jedi, and now he's just Jed. Pretty soon he's just gonna be hey, like just a noise. But yeah, looking through our notes, we've talked a lot about this stuff. It's so cool because everyone has their own, right? Everyone has their own chains, their own prisons, and most of those prisons are built by ourselves, by listening to other people. And I think Anakin for sure listened to other people, and he built around him what the reality was that he thought he was supposed to have, and it was not jibing with his soul and what he wanted or what he felt he could do. And that pushing into that tiny little box, it only accentuated the problems that Anakin had, which caused the issue. Man, that's a mouthful again, man. This is a great. This is a great show tonight, guys. What time is it?
We got to see the real Dr. Dana earlier.
Well, so I'm a little inspired after this certification. I'm gonna be honest, man. It was a really cool experience. We can talk about that a little bit. So John Maxwell's a leader of leaders. He's written like 90 books on leadership. The first one that I ever read was 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And that's where he talks about leadership as influence, nothing more, nothing less. I read that book in 1988. And if you hear me talking about influence, I'm just as passionate today as I was then. Influence is so incredible, not manipulation, influence. And so going back as far as 98 to know that I've been following he's been mentoring me from afar by me reading his material, his content, and I just got certified with his company. So now I can teach all of his stuff for the last 40 or 20, 30 years or whatever that he's been writing. I can teach to pretty much anything that he has now. So it was really fun, really cool, and it really expanded. Like, don't be silent, right? If you have those nuggets inside of you trying to get out, whether that's whatever you're passionate about. For me, it's helping people, talking about how we can continually grow and improve ourselves, what to hear, what not to hear, what to listen to, what to look at. So it was a life-changing kind of experience over those few days, and I'm making a move to go. I've got an Insta that I just started, Dr. Dana Martin, and it'll be tied to Sith Dominion and everything, so it'll all post at once. But I'm going out there, starting to do some keynotes and whatnot, and I'm open for business. So if any of you do want a mentor or a coach, and yes, leadership is what's attached to my name as a leadership coach, but I'm just a personal coach, right? I'm here to help you grow, help you find your answers, so you can be successful. So that's what
Do
I
you
do.
deal with confidence and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We may have to have a talk.
So for anyone out there that is listening or watches the show at any point, you can just go to dmilm.com. That's DM like Dana Martin, ILM like Industrial Light and Magic, but not really. It's Influence Leadership Management. dmilm.com. There's a form on there that you can fill out and just ask for more information. I'm always willing for every single person that contacts me. I do a free 30-minute consultation. And any single person that has ever done one of those has always said, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I don't want to have to pay you, but thank you so much for the 30 minutes because I have help right now and something tangible that I can use." And that's my goal. I want to make sure you have something tangible that you can use. But this is not a commercial for me. It is in a way just because I'm doing Sith Dominion because I like to share my knowledge that I have and experience, and hopefully make things better for you. So, the last bit, what do we have? Oh, we didn't really talk about Revan, and that's okay. Because I think when we look at someone, I love your passion for Luke Skywalker, Cameron, and
Always.
I think that when you have you collective, the royal you have a passion for anything, specifically like a character, you try to emulate that character, right? So I have a passion for Vader, and yes, there are people in my past that would tell you 100% no, that dude's Emperor Palpatine, like he terrible. No, not terrible, just hard, like strict, but not strict or hard. That's just what you think. What I'm trying to do is like you're amazing and you're wonderful and you have so much potential, and the only way that you're going to get it out of you is if someone pulls it out of you. We live in a society that's just not keen on putting in the effort sometimes, and so you got to drag it out. Yeah, I love it, and I love Star Wars, and this has been a super fun ride. Next week, we're not going to close out quite yet, but next week we have maybe our guest, Stephanie. I was hoping to get her on tonight, but she had something come up. So Stephanie, who came from the first season of The Floor, gonna have her on. We'll talk a few minutes about The Floor, 10, 15 minutes about her experience there, Rob Lowe, and all that fun stuff, and about trivia, and then we'll get into some Star Wars stuff. She's a huge Star Wars fan. It'll be super fun. It'll be the next week or the week after. Zane should be back next week as well. I don't know about these two, but we still have one more episode in the series, so I hope they're both back. The next episode in the series is going to be "The Force Shall Set Me Free." And I find that interesting that there's nothing like that at all in the Jedi Code. The Force shall set me free. There's a whole ideology that goes on with that, a whole different line of thinking compared to the Jedi that I subscribe to. And it's about owning the power in you. So, what are you guys doing the rest of the week, man? It's only Tuesday.
On book 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's been the animated show, not the live action nonsense.
Oh, got you.
Out. So, that's been fun. Probably gonna read Dark Empire 2, and I mentioned it earlier, but huge Dragon Ball Z fan, and Akira Toriyama passed, or they announced his passing a few days ago, and so I've been kind of rewatching old Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball clips, and I think I might pick up. I have a box set of the manga, so I might start reading that just to experience that again. So
I don't think I've met anyone that has told me don't watch it.
oh, it has. I was rewatching some of the Boo saga of. I know this is just gonna sound like Greek, but people listening might understand. Like Majin Vegeta in the Boo saga is probably one of my favorite just fictional characters in general, and he's seen as the bad guy. I mean, Vegeta is my favorite Dragon Ball character, but I think I was watching some of those clips today, and it just got me fired up. And I think it's cool. I mean, some people think I used to always get made fun of as a kid for liking anime and being into that, and seeing how it's become not like mainstream is probably the wrong word, but just seeing how it's more accepted. That's really cool for kids nowadays, because
Oh yeah, you were totally like one of those geeks. Like if you read manga, you probably had like a Master of Puppets freaking Levi jacket or something. Wait, now I'm dating myself. But yeah, no, that's
yeah,
weird.
it's just like what
It's
like
You're like, what?
what do you watch? Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, we're and I mean, I
the,
played
the Levi's denim jackets, and they had these big patch on the bag with like Metallica or Slayer or whatever. No, nothing. All right.
but I mean, it's cool, and I always will recommend Dragon Ball Z, even if you watch Dragon Ball Kai, which is kind of more of how the manga's paced, less filler, but that was my childhood, and R.I.P. to Akira Toriyama, and condolences to his family.
Oh, that sucks. What and people don't all know all that goes into. So like, how many millions and billions of people are on the planet, right? And here we are in our little corner with 3 people watching right now. Thank you. But we're saying some incredible things. That I think we are. Of course, it's my show, but I think we're doing some really positive things on the show. And you look at people like artists, writers, directors, voice actors, and all these things that go into these any animated project, but anime specifically. You're talking about influencing and touching how many millions of people that watch these. Everything from Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan. What is the school? I can't remember. Hunter, X Hunter. What, like all these things have millions of people that watch them, and so all of that power, what are they doing with it? That's always my question. That's another episode. But yeah, what a great opportunity for them to not even really, like, I don't know that name, but certainly I understand the scope of work, right? And that's good. So yeah, R.I.P. man. Debbie, what are you doing the rest of the week, or still getting ready for next weekend?
Let's see. Tomorrow night, nothing.
Don't use the H word. Don't use the H word. You tell me anything but the H word.
Thursday night, I'll be on Cantina Happy Hour. We'll be covering chapters, episodes 7 and 8 for this last season of Bad Batch.
Nice. I will not be on that show because I have not seen those. But go ahead.
Man, dude.
Doesn't even know what's going on.
I'd be like, hey, yeah, when does Bad Batch come out?
Yeah, I really want Star Wars content. I'm like,
where have you been?
I'm like, Dana, check your credit card statement.
I'll tell you what I did. I wrote an article about the next big Star Wars villain and what it should be. So yeah, go check that out at Geek News Now. Thank you for the segue, Cameron. You're perfect at that. And Debbie's like, dude, this guy. Go check out geeknewsnow.net and check out my article that just dropped today also about the perfect villain for Star Wars moving forward. We're going to talk a little bit about that next week. Let's get some legs under that article, folks. Go check it out.
Tune in, Kathleen Kennedy, please. And Dave Filoni. Tune in.
Dave Filoni, what? Yeah, Dave. We're just going to keep hashtag Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni. Just keep saying it over. And hey, what is up? Okay, sorry. So, yeah. What else? Anything this weekend you got going on, kicking?
Friday I'll be on. Oh wait, no, I won't. Never mind. I thought I was going to be on Star Trek. On Star Trek show, but I think we are off this week, and of course next week I'm down at Indiana Comic-Con seeing my boy Hayden.
Do you have any other meets or ops, or just Hayden is all your focus is?
That was my focus.
Are you gonna get all dressed up? And if so, what
I tried to get my daughter, because she's going with me. I said, Steph, you dress as young Leia. I could dress as old General Leia. It would be perfect because everybody always says we look like twins. I don't see it, but that's what people say. But yeah, I said, I think that would be perfect. I think Hayden would get a kick out of it. Maybe not. Maybe it's been done before. I don't know, but she was just, I don't know.
Do it.
Do it. Do it, Debbie daughter. Do it.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm not the one
Just
you have
listen
to
to
convince, but
What? She's not a fan of the show? No, I don't. No. He's not one of the
she's
four
probably
people.
in
watching?
bed. These shows, I mean,
Oh
the
yeah,
girl
you're on
is-
the East Coast too. Yeah.
yeah, the girl's 30 something and she goes to bed earlier than I do. I've always been a night owl. I could go to bed at 12, 1 o'clock and still get up at 5:30 in the morning. So
Yeah, I got dogs to make sure I'm up. Yeah. Yeah. And if I don't get up, he starts making this noise like he knows that will make me get up, and it's and he starts making that like my throat's dry, I need some water, daddy. And it sounds like I'm gonna puke. And I bolt up right out of bed because that's a sound that will wake anybody up from anything. I don't care if you hung over drunk, you're gonna hear that sound, you're gonna bolt up right now. Nobody like dog puke. Stop.
or
Okay.
cat and their hairballs.
Oh yes. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No.
Chewy starts doing that, and I'm like, no, do it on the wood floor, not the
like-
carpet.
What happened, Chewy? Stop grooming yourself. Oh my goodness, no more way. So just so everyone knows, yeah, tonight was it was supposed to be 2. I thought I had 2 of the Frankensteins. I've had the Frankenstein before. But it wasn't. One was a Dracula, it was a Frankenstein. So I just drank Dracula because you can't recork it. You just throw that cork away. All right. Well, I think we did some damage tonight. I really appreciate it, you guys. Zane, we missed you, but not really. And I mean, we can carry the show without Zane. I mean, we say the same about you, Debbie, when you're not here, or Cam when you're not here. So we can carry the show without them.
All right, I don't give a shit.
I know. No.
I care deeply. Please do not say that.
I love like sometimes it's almost like Cam's like, shit, I don't know if we're having a show and I don't know if I should ask. I'll just wait. And it's Monday and I know he's just dying and I'm like, show, sweet. And
Yeah.
like immediately, like he's just waiting for me to say show.
Like
But no,
insane.
I've been busy the last few weeks. I've got the show. After March is over, things will clear up a little bit. And in April is my 1-year anniversary from coming on board to GNN, because like my second or third piece was the April Fool's Day satire piece I had to write. So I'm at, I guess, a year at GNN. So wow, writing articles and doing a podcast and not getting paid. It's awesome. Just kidding. Love you, Grandpoopa. No, Debbie, and it's been fantastic working with the likes of you, Kat, etc. It's just you all of you are fantastic. So, yeah, cool. And any parting shots, last thoughts, anything you guys got coming up that you want to talk about, or are we good?
Chilling.
Think we're good.
You're gonna get pictures, right? I mean, I know we have next week's show, and we'll talk a little bit about it because it's coming up the weekend after next week's show. But you're gonna get some pictures. You're gonna share those, right?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
especially Hayden's, because
Are you gonna get one of like a new pick to your harem wallpaper? Like you get a new.
I really need to work on that. I
Yeah,
keep saying
yeah.
I am, and I don't. But yeah, I really do need to work on it and make it look halfway decent. But you see what you're working with here, so
Well, and I guess it's been 8 months since I've seen it, so I would love to see it again. We need to get it on this show though.
we don't need to see it.
We're talking about a wallpaper, folks. Stop. All right, everyone, have a great week. I will be. I don't think I'll have another article for a bit. But if you guys could jump over to Insta and just look up Dr. Dana Martin. I just created a Dr. Dana Martin Insta. That's going to be where all my excerpts from keynotes and all of that fun stuff's going to be. So the official Dana Martin doctor thing is Dr. Dana Martin, DRDANA MARTIN. That's on Instagram. Sith Dominion's still a thing on TikTok, and all that stuff is going to float in between. So I'm really looking forward to kind of expanding my reach, and hopefully we can get some positive change, man, because that's what it really is all about. People feeling good about themselves, making positive decisions to go in positive directions with their lives. So yeah, and we can do that using the Sith, and we've proved that over and over again. So thank you guys. Cameron, you have a great week. Debbie, you have a great week. And all you people out there, remember, kids, that peace is a lie. There is only passion. Good night.